Okay, let's talk about the Green Bay Packers draft. Let's be honest, I think Packers fans have something else they're more concerned about at the moment with the whole Aaron Rodgers situation, but I kind of like this draft. I actually thought the Packers had a good draft, and I know it's a meme to make fun of the Packers and everything they do. And listen, they have some clear issues that they've done these past few years, but really, I do stand by. Like, yes, last year's draft was okay. You're never going to get me to admit that Jordan Love was the right pick, unless Jordan Love ends up being a Hall of Famer. It probably was not the right pick. But we're not talking about last year's draft. We're talking about this year's draft. This year's draft, I think, was good. And it all starts with their first round pick, Eric Stokes, who I like. I really like. I mean, people keep saying, oh, well, why not get a wide receiver? Well, they had the number one offense last year and they really need a corner. So, yeah, getting a fast corner, which is the main thing they were lacking last year to play opposite Jair Alexander, because obviously he's awesome, but you're getting another one in that room. That's something they needed. And unless you want to have Kevin King as your corner too, getting someone like Stokes, it makes a lot of sense to me. And there are some issues with Stokes. I mean, yes, he doesn't have the best hips. Yes, he doesn't have the best footwork. But you know what? He's a really smart guy. You can just see that on tape. He just finds a way to, like, all these interceptions. I saw people talking about how, like, oh, well, his interceptions are misleading because a lot of times it was more right place, right time. To me, that's still like a good trait to have in a corner, is someone who can read the play and get to the right place at the right time. These are him making good reads. And again, he's so fast, he's not going to get burned deep. So you might be able to burn him with a double move or something. But in terms of like down the field, the reality is the history of the NFL states that fast corners are what stick around for a while in the NFL, with few exceptions. There are a few, but usually those exceptions are like zone corners. I mean, there's been a couple of exceptions to that rule with, Marcus Peters comes to mind, Tre'Davious White. But for the most part, you want a guy who's fast, and Eric Stokes is very fast. So I love this selection. I think he's going to be great. I had him as my corner 3. I really did. In the second round, Green Bay got their Corey Linsley replacement with Josh Myers. Not saying he'll be Corey Linsley, but then again, the way the Packers draft offensive linemen, I'm certainly confident that he'll probably end up being pretty good at least. So, getting him in the second round, he can play center, he can play guard. So maybe you want to have Jenkins play center, and then you can have Myers play guard. I don't know, but either way, I like this move. And again, not too much to talk about, but yeah, it's an important move. And then in the third round, they get, A. Rodgers, who is, it's kind of funny because they get another guy who is sounds very close to Aaron Rodgers, but they could use an extra receiver. He's a guy who could be that guy. Now, he wasn't a receiver I was like blown away by personally when I watched film on him. He runs over a 4.5 40. And again, with these times, usually that's, actually a little bit lower than it actually is. So it might be something closer to a 4.6. Also not the biggest guy at 5'9". But, again, getting another guy in the room, will he be able to be that like true number 2 receiver to take some pressure off of Adams? I don't know, but at least you're getting another receiver. In rounds 4 and 5, we saw a lot of depth guys, right? Royce Newman, who's an offensive lineman that can play anywhere on the field. You have Tre'Davious Slayton, who is, just a huge run-stopping defensive tackle potentially at 6'4", 330 pounds. So just the size, him next to Kenny Clark, that's interesting in itself. I don't know how good of a player he is. I haven't watched too much tape on him, but just looking at the size itself, that's enough to get me interested in him. So he might be someone I watch some more film on. You have Shamir Jean-Charles, a corner, not the fastest corner. So that's kind of the concern. He didn't even break 4.5 when he was in his pro day, which means that it's probably not going to work out too well. So I'm not really crazy about that. But at the same time, I like Eric Stokes enough. And maybe they see something he hasn't. Maybe he fell because of the 40 time, and you can figure something else out with him, move him to safety or something. I don't know. And then, more depth, of course, because, that's kind of what you do later in the stretch is get depth guys or get special teamers. Well, Cole Van Leinen, another guy who, just another offensive lineman in the building. And again, Green Bay, they know how to draft offensive linemen. So maybe one of these guys ends up being a good starter. I wouldn't be shocked at all, given their history. Round 6, they got Isaiah Duffy. I'm not sure exactly how you pronounce it. Listen, Green Bay could use some linebackers. Their linebacking core right now isn't great. And, they tried to get, they went with Christian Kirksey, thinking, hey, this guy's always injured, but maybe he'll stay healthy with us. And then he got injured. So that was kind of predictable. And they ended up releasing him after just 1 year. So, getting an undersized linebacker, the issue is that this guy might actually end up having to play more time than I think you would like from a 6th-round pick. But at the same time, like, it's better than not having him. So get another guy in the linebacking room. I don't disagree with that whatsoever. And round 7, Kylan Hill, running back, and kind of a Jamal Adams replacement, it seems. Get that third back. They need a third back. You can get guys who can actually be pretty decent in the 7th round with running backs. So don't hate this move at all. So yeah, as a whole, I mean, Green Bay didn't really have a lot of holes, despite what the national media wants to tell you. And while I would have liked to maybe see them like get one of my preferred wide receivers in the 3rd round over Amari Rodgers, or even in the 4th round or 5th round, because there were some good wide receivers that dropped. I still like Amari Rodgers fine. And they got a potential starting offensive lineman, center or guard in the 2nd round. And they got, in my opinion, a day 1 starting really good cornerback in Eric Stokes, who will probably have a bit of rookie issues because every rookie does, especially when it comes to corners. But I like him a lot too. So, yeah, I'm a fan of the Packers draft. I think they did a good job. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. What are your thoughts on the Green Bay Packers draft? Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.